Today's report is one of the many reasons I'm confident in the ability of existing investigations to uncover all actionable facts about the events of January 6th. I'll continue to support these efforts over any that seek to politicize the process, and I would urge my colleagues to do the same.
Mitch McConnell struck down the idea of a bipartisan commission to investigate the January 6th attack on our Capitol on the events that transpired that day. Our guest tonight, Professor Timothy Snyder, writes this, quote, "The terrorist attacks of 9/11 raised questions about foreign policy and airport security. The terrorist attack of 1/6 raised deeper questions about how our country is governed and who we have become as a people. 9/11 led us to the invasion of Iraq, the foreign policy disaster that marked our century. 1/6 leads us to a catastrophe on that scale, but inside our own country." Still with us is Professor Timothy Snyder. Professor, indeed, this is Peggy Noonan's latest in the Journal. If you weren't appalled by 1/6, then you have given up. Throw in the towel. Democracy's done. It's over. Those who know it's not done, not over, those who won't allow it to be done and over also know that democracy needs friends right now. In this country, we had the extraordinary event on Memorial Day of hearing the American president refer to our democracy as being in peril. Professor, we deal with this topic every day, but it's like the frog boiling experiment. It's not being treated as an emergency. It's kind of a rolling benign event. Should it be treated as an emergency?
It should be treated as a constant challenge. You know, these two segments are connected. When we look at Mr. Putin and we think about the assassination of people like Boris Nemtsov and Anna Politkovskaya, these were people who were trying to find out the truth about basic issues in Russia, the truth about Chechnya, the truth about Ukraine. By the same token, if we want to avoid becoming like that, we have to have leaders who, instead of hiding the truth, want the truth to be exposed as clearly and as early and in as many ways as possible. So if we don't have a 9/11 commission, then NGOs have to step in. Congress has to step in, because if you miss your own history, if you can't tell your own story, then your story gets told for you. And our story for a lot of Americans is now being told through the prism of this big lie, the big lie that Trump supposedly actually won the election. And that lie leads people to close their minds to other people, and it leads a political party to move away from democracy. So I would say constant challenge, always a challenge.
How do you get a basically trusting society, ours, operating in with a First Amendment to be more skeptical of what they see? If you know what to look for on social media, you know the sites that the Russians are boosting. It's any bad news, anything to make us feel bad about our country, the virus, our politics, our divisions, race. How do you make a more educated consumer without entirely turning people off to our politics?
I think you have to think very broadly. I mean, I think so. Democracy isn't just something which is under threat. Democracy is a project. It doesn't come naturally. It depends upon civic education. It depends upon history. We need more history so that Americans aren't surprised by bad news and know where it comes from and can think about a better future. What we really need, and Russia is also a good lesson here, is local news. The crash of liberalism and democracy in Russia begins with the crash of local news there. We're following that same trajectory. If we want Americans to have a source of information for a common conversation, that information has to be about the places where they live. Right now, America is a news desert. If you want people to have alternatives to social media, you have to give them those alternatives. You have to give them the facts about their actual life around them. That creates the basis for larger national conversations. If all of our conversations are just about national politics and ideology, we're going to be divided. So I like the question, because if you have to think big like the founders did. You have to think about building from the ground up. What kind of education, what kind of factual environment do we need to become better citizens? I think that's the moonshot which is missing so far from the Biden administration. We can't just think about this defensively. We have to think about what kind of climate can we create around young Americans for the future so that they'll be ready for democracy.